Hey guys, so today we want to talk about adding and subtracting mixed numbers. The way that I teach this is using a method called the four-square method. So anytime you have addition or subtraction with mixed numbers or fractions, what you want to do is go ahead and make 4 different boxes. So I just draw a big plus sign. And each box has a specific thing that we're looking to put in it. So in the first box, this is going to be where you rewrite. You're going to rewrite these mixed numbers as improper fractions. So rewrite the problem as improper. So to make a fraction or a mixed number improper, you have to first multiply your denominator and your whole number and then add it to your numerator, and you keep your denominator the same. So 3 1/2, I'll do 2 times 3, which is 6, plus 1, and I get 7. And then I keep my denominator the same, so I have 2. Then I do the same thing with this one. 7 times 4 gives me 28. 28 plus 3 gives me 29, 30, 31. So I get 31 over 7. And then my addition, or sometimes it's subtraction, that sign I just bring it right down. That is all you do in the first box. Now the second box, this is where you go to find your least common denominator. Because remember, you cannot add or subtract fractions if they do not have the same denominator. So for example, this, I would not add these and get 9 as my denominator. That is just not what you can do. So over here, if you cannot look at these and tell what that least, and there's the school bell. If you can't look at these and tell what the least common denominator is, what you need to do is list all your denominators right here. If I had a third fraction, I would have a third row. And what you're going to do now is you're going to count by that number or list its multiples. So if I count by 2's, I have 2, 4, 6, 8. Now I like to jump back and forth between the rows. So if I'm working on this row, 8 is larger than 7. So now I'm going to hop over to 7 and start counting by it. So whichever number ends up being lower, I skip back over to that row. And you'll see why in just a minute. So the next multiple of 7 is 14. Well, I can't get 14 to be 8, so let's see if we can get 8 to be 14. So 8, 10, 12, 14. So I'm going to stop right here because now that I have the same number in both rows, that is my least common denominator. So for this problem, that's going to be 14. So that's all you do in box 2. Now box 3, this one can be a little bit more complicated. You've got to really watch your multiplication. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to prep the problem. So kind of like when you cook, you have to prep all of your ingredients. I need to prep my math. So I'm going to go ahead and put my addition sign, put my fraction bars, and then we found that least common denominator. So I know that both of them will have 14 in the denominator. And that's all of my prep work right there. What you're going to do now, and this is the part you got to really pay attention. You're going to draw arrows and connect your denominators. So I'm going to connect 2 to 14, then I'll connect 7 to 14. And we're going to ask ourselves, 2 times something gives me 14. Now we know 2 times 7 gives me 14. Over here, 7 times something gives me 14. We know that's going to be 2. So these numbers that I just found, they do not go in the numerator. You're actually going to use these. You're going to multiply with them. So I'm going to do it again, but this time with my numerators. 7 times 7 gives me 49. 31 times 2 gives me 62. So in box 3, we just rewrote it with the common denominator. Now in this fourth box, all you're doing is wrapping it up, okay? You're gonna go ahead and solve. So since this is addition, I'm gonna add my numerators. So 49 plus 62. 9 plus 2 gives me 11, so I carry that 1. 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 6 is 11. So I know my numerator is going to be 111. And then for my denominator, remember, if you add or subtract, that denominator stays the same. So it's going to be 14. Do not add your denominators. Now, if you'll use this four square method, the steps are going to be the same every time. You're always going to make it improper, find your least common denominator, rewrite the fractions with that least common denominator, and then solve.